Hi dudes, welcome back to another Patreon exclusive video. Today we're going to be doing another behind the video focusing on my dental care video. By the way, obviously I'm in a very questionable setup right now, not home in my studio, and I've got a nice juicy breakout occurring on my chin. It's painful, it's fun, and this is the Patreon exclusive kind of stuff that you're getting. So here you go. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this video. Let's get the freak into it. So this video, which I ended up calling Good Teeth Are a Luxury Only the Rich Can Afford, it did surprisingly well compared to what I thought it would, because I was like, okay, I'm making like an hour-long video about teeth. I don't think people are gonna be... Well, here's the thing. I knew if people watched it, I was like, everyone has teeth, or you don't have teeth, therefore everyone should have something to say or some feelings about this topic. So I was like, okay, if I can get people to watch it, then they will probably feel some feelings. But of course, getting people to click on a video about dental care is kind of difficult, hence why I kind of branded it in the thumbnail and title as like a discussing influencer teeth sort of thing, which I did touch on, but you know, it ended up being a lot more about the class implications of our dental care or lack of dental care, and not like it's like a bait and switch, but you know, you've always got to be very strategic with the marketing of a video. So I posted that now August 2nd, so it's been 21 days, 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks, and it is at 376,000 views, which is great. I think it was ranked like number 4 out of 10, which is like above average, again, the YouTube ranking of your last 10 videos. I was pleasantly surprised, and most importantly, I really loved all of the comments, because that's the most fulfilling feedback, you know, when every comment is like a paragraph or like an essay length response. That's when I know the topic is really good, really engaging, really thought-provoking, or something that people are very connected to. So I love to see that. Let's go look at Clockify and see how long it took me to make this video. In total, this video took me 40.5 hours. Which is more than my average. Typically a regular internet analysis takes me like 25 to 30 hours, but this one took longer, probably in part because I had to read the whole teeth book for it, and I counted that as part of my writing and research time. When it came to like tracking that, obviously I wasn't turning on my tracker every single time I sat down to read, but I would estimate like, oh, I just spent 30 minutes there, an hour there. So for this one, yes, writing took 18 hours and 43 minutes. So that includes the research and the writing and the structuring that I do before I film. Editing took 11 hours and 6 minutes, which is pretty typical. I think this one had slightly less media than I usually include, like B-roll and stuff like that. And it was more so just going through, cutting down the video from all the footage, and then adding the like quotes and the little pictures of my annotations in the book. That took the bulk of the editing time. Finishing touches took 3 hours and 55 minutes. Again, I always think the final touches, which is like, I pay a freelancer named Chris, if you want to check her out on Twitter. I pay her to do my captions, and then before I upload a video, I go through the captions and make sure they're all accurate, in case, you know, names or little things need to be adjusted. And then that includes writing out the timestamps, linking all the resources that I used, working on the thumbnail, all of that. And it always takes longer than I think. Some days I'll like have a video ready, like the video's exported and uploaded to YouTube, and I'm like, okay, I could probably post it today. And then I forget that it's gonna take me an extra like 3 to 4 hours to do all that last stuff. So anyway, overall, in terms of like the time I spent putting into this video, what I got out of it, I felt very satisfied by the time it was done. I feel like when I was writing it and editing it, I was like, this is important. I really like this video because I'm talking about something that I am so deeply passionate about, and again, it almost makes me cry all the time when I think about just the state of dental care and the lack of dental care and all of the unnecessary harm. Other than that, I did want to touch on some extra things. There was a couple of things that didn't make the cut for the video because it was already long enough, that I did want to mention here. So the first thing, while I was reading the book Teeth, I think the author Mary Otto does a great job at giving a lot of nuance and trying to explain all the situations from, you know, not both sides I don't think that's ever necessary. Objectivity is a myth, yada yada. But I think she was fair to dental professionals when needed, but she also was honest about the fact that many people in the industry are trying to whatever extent, like gatekeep or protect their profits, which as professionals under capitalism makes sense, but in terms of being good humans, a bit selfish, I'd say. There was a lot in the book about how the ADA, the American Dental Association, which like represents the industry of dentists, the ADA has consistently blocked efforts to expand like community dental outreach. So often people will be like, hey, our community is lacking in dental care. Let's bring out a dental bus to schools. Let's have dental hygienists, or I think they were also called dental therapists. Basically, there are dentists who are obviously the top tier dental professionals. Dentists are qualified to do all procedures, including like oral surgery, though there are still other oral surgeons who like more so specialize in that, but dentists are obviously qualified to do cavity fillings, extractions, everything else. And then there are the hygienists and the technicians and the dental therapists who kind of perform, I guess, the equivalent of like what physician's assistants or nurses do. Still lots of the bulk of care that's needed in a dentist's office. They interact with a lot of patients. Anyway, people would go, hey, because we have a shortage of dentists, we don't have enough dentists for this area or for this community, let's bring the people that we have, like dental hygienists, for example, let's bring them to schools, let's have them do exams and cleanings for the kids or for the elderly, whatever community they're trying to reach. And then sometimes they'd go, hey, how about we see if we can get those dental assistants, let's see if they can do fillings, because sometimes people can't access the actual dentist to get a filling, but they need a filling, you know? Now it's been many weeks since I read the book, but there were countless examples of like, you know, a woman who was trying to start this kind of school community initiative, and the ADA went after her, sending her threatening letters and legal threats and just being like, you know, we're gonna ruin your life if you pursue this, you need to stop, cease and desist. Even a guy who was trying to provide care in Alaskan villages, he was also harassed by the ADA and they threatened to try to shut him down. And so throughout a lot of the book, I just ended up getting so mad. Again, not at individual dentists, though I'm sure many of them are profit motivated, of course, especially if you own your own private practice. But I was mad at the ADA, of course, like the body that is doing all of this, because of course it's self-interested. But it's like, their reasons for trying to shut down these community initiatives were like, we're worried about the well-being of the community and we want to make sure that the quality is high and we can't have them perform these sorts of things. And again, even just sometimes it was like basic cleanings and exams that they were opposed to having these community outreach organizers do. And it was just like, they would say it was a matter of, oh, we're concerned about the safety and well-being of the community. We want them to get the highest quality work done, highest quality care, but they're not providing that care. That's the problem. They either don't want to accept those patients because of the financial reasons, or they're booked and busy with their higher paying clients. And it's like, okay, well there's a big hole in the care here. Jesus. And the dentists are not filling it. Can't we let other people fill it? And they go, no. And it's like, oh, so you just want people to be fucked. You just want people to have nothing. It's really, are you saying that no care is better than some care by a dental professional? They may not be a dentist, but like they do have years of study and experience under their belt and they want to help. Of course I understand the need for like making sure that there's a minimum standard of care. I would never want anyone to get subpar care or to potentially be in a dangerous situation. We're not just gonna let any fucking person off the street be like, yeah, I'll fucking do an extraction. No, these are professionals. So yeah, that made me really upset because every time I read another example of the ADA running in there and trying to shut things down, I was just like, you dickheads, this is fully only about your profit motivation. You're trying to protect your industry. You're trying to keep, you know, the supply and demand of dental professionals to a level that suits you because it'll make you the most money. And again, this doesn't apply to all dentists, I know, but a lot of people do get into dentistry because it's a good paying thing, you know, just like a lot of doctors. You are helping people, of course, but Some people get into it because it pays a lot and they want to have a private practice, they want to make as much money as possible, and ultimately that is their goal. Not just like, I would like to just help my community, which nobody has to have these fully noble, selfless goals. We exist under capitalism, you've got to pay your bills, and the risk of, you know, you owning a private practice, you've got the responsibilities and the bills to pay. I get it. But also, some people are selfish and only care about profit. This is where these like special interest groups and lobbying and stuff are just I mean, almost all of it's bullshit, because of course, like, they, under the guise of caring about the community and the people, try to shut down these initiatives. And it's just like, it's so deeply frustrating because they've been successful. They've been successful for a long time in shutting down any sort of competitors. So, another interesting little tidbit I found was about the beginning of dental insurance. Apparently, dental insurance came out of the labor movement, which I really love. I found this little tidbit from the Delta Dental website, but it was mentioned in the book Teeth. In 1954, for the International Longshoremen's and Warehousemen's Union and the Pacific Maritime Association, it was dental benefits. The group representing these workers presented the idea of dental coverage for employees' children, along with money to the dental associations in California, Oregon, and Washington. So yeah, basically the labor movements, the organized labor, the unions, in this particular situation came to the workers and said, hey, is there anything else you guys need? And they said, it'd be really cool if we could figure out a way to like cover our dental care, because us and our kids and our families are struggling. And the frickin' union did it. And then after that, years later, it ended up expanding into a more formal industry, the dental insurance industry. And I mean, again, we know how that works. You privatize insurance, and then you're ultimately just gonna be like, how can we make money off of this? Rather than the focus being, how can we help the workers? How can we help the working class? Those are my thoughts on this video, I guess. Again, it's been a little bit too long. I really should get in the habit of doing these recap behind the video videos sooner after the videos are posted so that it's more fresh in my mind. But yeah, overall, I'm still really satisfied with this video. I'm happy that I did it, and I'm considering doing more like these. I would love to do a similar one about universal health care, Medicare for all. So maybe stay tuned for that, though I know that would be a behemoth of a video to research, and I'd want to make sure I'm getting everything right. That is the pressure in something like this. There's so many like facts and figures, and I don't want to misrepresent things, so that was a tricky part of this research, but also a kind of fun one. So yeah, look out for more healthcare related videos. Now I guess I just want to do a little bit of a personal chat with you guys, check back in, because it's been a minute. I've been feeling some sort of way. By the way, right now my period's about to start, hence the breakout on my chin. That's always a classic. I tend to break out like here, which might be because I touch my bangs here a lot, but I break out here, and then I think the chin ones are more hormonal. But yeah, and I can also hear my like ovaries. Is that my ovaries? I can't think right. Uterus. Idiot. For any of you who also menstruate, can you hear your fucking uterus? Because I can always hear mine like gurgling. It's not my stomach. It is my uterus preparing to ruin my life for a week. So that's why I feel a little bit tired and not too great physically right now, but it's all right. So what was I saying? I don't know. I wanted to touch on how I've been feeling as a creator lately. As always, this fluctuates, and okay, well, let's get into it. You probably have noticed if you've followed me on Instagram and Twitter, especially in the past years, I used to love posting on Instagram all the time, like when I was in like high school or even early college, there was and still is a rule about like don't post on Instagram too much, like don't double post. I would intentionally post like 2 or 3 times a day, just complete like shit posting, like silly pictures, whatever. But yeah, I used to post a lot, I used to tweet a lot, and since my channel grew because of internet analysis, I just started to be more mindful about what I was posting, obviously, and I didn't really feel like shitposting selfies anymore. And then my Twitter slowly became just mostly like retweets, you know, articles I would read or other, you know, thinkers that I really respected, where I felt like they could say they could say anything better than I could, so I might as well just retweet them because they, you know, have the best points or the best takes or whatever. And I think I've been off Twitter now since like January, so that's wild because I used to be like fully addicted. Twitter was fully like my first source of news and current events. That's how I would learn what was going on with the world, and then obviously I would go and read other things and watch other things about it. But Twitter was like a very political, news focused platform for me, and I do miss that because truly I've been so out of the loop on a lot of things, but also the toxicity of Twitter and like just not being able to avoid those more harmful sides of it, you know, the leftist infighting or like the drama of whatever. I don't want that to take up any of my like mental space or energy. So overall, I feel like not being on Twitter is good. You know, I still use it to promote my videos, or once in a while I'll check it just to see if anybody's tagged me in anything or something. But I don't have any interest in like using it like I used to anytime soon. And then Instagram, like I really don't post on my feed very much, which I know is pretty common. Like a lot of people don't post on their feed a lot these days. It's mostly stories focused, or I guess reels now. But I would like post on my feed like weeks later. I'd be like, oh yeah, I did something a couple weeks back, I'll share it now. I just have no like desire to update everyone, and I feel like this has all come out of like just a focus on being a more private person. Again, as my channel has grown, I always reassess what I want and what I want to share, and it's tough because being a creator, your popularity is pretty directly tied to like how strong the parasocial relationships are of like your followers, how connected do they feel to you, how devoted are they to you, how much do they want to see your posts, are they checking every day, are they checking your YouTube, will they watch everything you post? So I know it's counterproductive for me as a creator in like the very like capitalistic sense of like, if my goal is to get the most views or likes or followers, I should be posting a lot and sharing a lot and getting people invested. But I really feel like I want to do the opposite. Like I don't want to encourage those parasocial relationships, because then obviously then people get more invested in you, which makes sense. It's like they care what you're up to. Hey, how are you doing with that? What are you eating and drinking these days? Like, how's your relationship? Are you still friends with so-and-so? I feel like I've never really had a problem with people being too invested in my life. Not in like recent years, because again, I haven't been sharing as much, but I just feel like I've gotten to a point where I really respect my privacy, and I don't want to go back in that direction of like sharing too much again. But then I do wonder, I'm like, oh, am I gonna let people like forget about me if I'm not posting enough? Especially if I'm like only posting 1 to 3 main channel videos a month. It's like in the creator mindset that's so focused on productivity and constantly being visible, that is a situation that people would go, oh my god, people are gonna forget about you. Like, they're not gonna care about your next video unless you're posting every few days. So yeah, I feel very conflicted about that. And on one hand, I do miss the old like community aspect. Like, I like getting feedback from people. I like seeing my comments, of course. I like reading my messages. And sometimes I'll fall into like a day or two where I'm posting like a lot of my stories, and then I won't post it all for like a week. And so yeah, it's like, none of this was like super intentional. It's just happened over the past few months where I've just felt less interested in sharing all the time. But then when you get to this point where you're not sharing at all, it seems like if you do share something, then that seems more significant, and then it carries more weight, and then it's like, oh no, like, you know, my next feed post is gonna be the first one in a couple weeks or a month or something. I have no concept of time. Hey, I popped the pimple. Oops. Just wanted to Just wanted to add that it's not just about privacy. I think it's also, I've been trying to manage my screen time as an individual, and that is so hard to separate from my work, obviously. Dude, my fucking neck, my posture is so fucked up from looking at my phone and my computer all day long. That's a whole other issue. So yeah, as an individual, I've been trying to use social media less, but for my job, stepping back is definitely detrimental to some extent. And I don't know, I just feel so overwhelmed. Like, I feel like I just only want my limited energy to go to my YouTube, like my main channel stuff, because that's the most important. That's what like makes me my income. So even the time that it takes to like use Twitter, like curate tweets, the time that it takes to curate your Instagram, to me, even those small things, like doing social media should not be that significant of a time investment, but it can be if it's your job. I just don't have the time or energy to dedicate to that. So to me, I'd rather just be like, I don't want to use any of that at all. I don't want to be a creator on Instagram or Twitter. I'm going to use them passively, not even Twitter as a user, but like, it's also kind of refreshing to experience just being a consumer of media rather than constantly feeling that pressure to be a creator. Sorry, I'm going to make this video fucking an hour long if I don't stop. Let's get back to it. Or maybe I'm just overthinking this and I'm really not as important as I'm considering, which is probably the truth, and it's fine whether I would like to post or not. I think it's fine. So, I also think another thing is just the pandemic, of course. I think a lot of us have retreated more into ourselves or become more private because our lives have been smaller, just by the nature of, you know, seeing people less, maybe working from home if you're used to working in an office. I can imagine that would just make you feel, I don't know if it's like a privacy thing or just a more like questioning our past behaviors of constantly performing for other people. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just don't want to perform for people more than I already do for my job, you know? But yeah, this is why, you know, I'm excited to be able to have these kind of conversations on Patreon, as casual and badly lit as they are, because now I feel like when I post a main channel video, like every video has to be impressive and smart and well researched, and sometimes I just miss like chatting, you know? I could do that on my vlog channel, or I guess if I got back into my podcast, but again, there's something nice about a community that's small and just knowing that like a limited number of people will see this versus like throwing everything into the public is always daunting, even if I only have a few thousand subscribers on my other channel or something. But that brings me to the point I was trying to make earlier about how I've been feeling about my own content, and especially before I made my last video about the reality TV to influencer pipeline. That video, spoiler, whatever. That video I'm not going to do a whole behind the video on, but that took me 45 hours to make. So even more than the dental teeth video. And that was just because I initially thought it would be an easy, simple, lighthearted video. And as always, I'm like, that doesn't happen. I can't do that anymore. I am beyond the point of being able to make a light 15 to 20 minute video. It is beyond me. So yeah, I go into it being like, okay, let's just do like an easy one. And then of course it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and there are all these other tangents that I want to explore for it to feel somewhat complete. And the whole time I was writing it and rewriting it and trying to reshape it, I was like, what is the point of this video? Am I making a point? Is any of this important? Am I just making this nonsense video? And yeah, so I was very deeply questioning myself during that process and just being like, what is the point of my content? Like, what the fuck do I do? Like, I was feeling, frankly, just very insecure, very inadequate. I always wonder, like, what, I don't know. I guess it's like being concerned about how people perceive you. You know, some people tell me, oh, I really love your videos. They're so well researched. They feel like academic but smart and light to me, and like they're easy to digest. And then I'm sure to some people my videos are like shallow or not deep enough, or not the sort of topics you'd expect if, you know, you're doing social commentary, or I don't know, like sometimes I worry if I'm not left enough, like on YouTube. That's a whole other thing, but like I'm definitely not one of the main channels that anyone would think of if you're talking about LeftTube or BreadTube or whatever, and I get that because I don't make overtly political videos. I do think I put my leftist politics into every video just because that's like natural for me, but I do avoid being too political just because I don't think I am knowledgeable enough for that, and I don't want to make videos that I feel like I can't confidently back, you know? And especially with like heavier or more important topics, the weight is even more to represent things correctly. But yeah, I worry about not being radical enough or not being political enough. Is it bad of me to do, like, I consider my content right now, I consider it to be media criticism, which focuses on pop culture, internet culture, and some social issues. That's a pretty wide umbrella, but again, like, I'm trying to think of my videos lately as not media criticism in the like film review sense or something like that. It's just like the angles that I'm interested in representing are usually like sociological, like how does this affect people? Why are people interested in this? And again, I don't know if that's what people expect when they watch a channel like mine. I think I've just come to terms with like, I just have to do the videos that I can do, that I'm capable of doing, and not beat myself up for them not being something else, you know, not being deeper or smarter or more well-researched, you know, like I do have my limits. I definitely do not think I'm the smartest fucking person on this platform. Not at all. If anything, every time I research a video, I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. Then by the end of it, I finish it and I'm like, okay, you know what, this was pretty good. But yeah, I don't have any, delusions of like me being this like masterful person. I'm just like, I'm just trying to make content that at the end of the day hopefully is entertaining and enjoyable, and if you learn something, that's great, and I just don't want to cause harm, you know? It's like, those are my goals. Sometimes it really does just boil down to like, what videos do I need to make? You know, what sponsor deadlines do I have? Sometimes I can't do the most, as in like the best magnum opus, like masterpiece, work of art. It's radical, it's life-changing, like on a week-to-week or month-to-month basis, like I don't think I have that in me. I think that's a lot to expect out of a single creator. I do work alone on these things, and again, I'm not that smart, I'm not that groundbreaking, frankly. Last thing on this note, obviously I totally agree with the power of having a platform and encouraging people with platforms to be political, speak about important issues, of course. And I think I still do that through my videos. I just do it in different ways or through different topics. But aside from that, I don't want to opt out of doing the work in my personal life just because I could say, oh, but I share issues on social media. So right now I'm really trying to kick myself in the butt to like learn more. Like I want to join some like open source free education kind of courses and stuff just to learn more about anti-capitalist everything, Marxism, environmentalism, sustainability, racism, white supremacy, all these issues that I do have different levels of understanding. I just want to like expand my knowledge. I miss school, so it's nice to be back in that kind of situation again, learning with peers, listening to other people. So yeah, I want to do that personally just to like learn more as an individual, and obviously that will help inform my videos as everything does. And then I also do want to focus more on what I can do in my community, mutual aid, how can I directly get involved aside from donations, which I'm already doing. Yeah, just trying to put my feet to the fire, trying to do more. And I think that more in-person, interpersonal, in my community sort of actions are going to make me feel like a real human and feel like I'm having more of an impact, a physical impact. Though I know that online activist work or online information spreading is also very important and effective. I'm talking myself in circles, as usual. That's just what I've been thinking about lately. You know, it's the classic ebbs and flows of like, do you feel confident as a creator? You feel like you're on top of it, you feel like you're killing it, and then maybe, you know, the next week or the next month you're like questioning everything you've ever done and wondering if you're doing the right things. I think it'll always be like that. I'm never gonna reach a point where I like fully stay in the exact perfect space I'm meant to be in that moment. It's like, no, we change as people. You go through your highs and lows, and that's fine. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Patreon exclusive videos. I'm gonna keep watching Search Party because I fucking love it. Okay, thanks, bye.